Hello, hello, hello. I am live. I just need to pop out my chat here and then bring forward my Manicam. Okie dokie. Hey, Joan. Hello, hello, hello. Just give people a few minutes to get in here. What just fell? Oh, hold on. Something important just fell. I knocked it over by mistake. One moment, please. Hello, Mandy J, Cheryl, Nick and Tina. Just one moment. I've got to pick something up off the floor. And I also have to, I'm just doing one more setting here. Oops, come on. Oh no, how come that's opening? I didn't ask to open that. What's going on? Quit. Okay. All right, one moment. There, that is what I want to open. All right. Now I'm back to here. Right. All right, sorry, I was just setting something. And I've got to pick up. One moment. I best move that away from my. Sorry if that's too loud. Just one moment. I'm going to have to move something. Okay, I'm back. I just had to make sure I found all the photos that fell off the desk. Hello, Judy and Lena. And who else came in while I was digging at photos? Hi, Nana. All right, just before I start painting, I want to show you guys what I've been scanning. I still have lots to scan in, but my sister is going through my mom's bedroom and dressers and stuff. When she was moving into mom's bedroom, and she found lots of these photos that we had never seen before. So I'm scanning them so we'll all be able to have copies. And then I'm hoping, hey, Deb, hoping that to put the originals in a scrapbook album, and they'll stay somewhere. Each have copies as well. This is my mom's first cousin, Edith Nicholson. It's my mom's father's family. We don't have many pictures of Grammy's side of the family at all. We only have, I don't even know if Grammy was Grammy might have even been an only child. I'm not sure. But we have, I also don't think, not that Grampy McKay was rich, but he was a carpenter in the mines, and he also built quite a few houses on the street that he lived on and owned several of them and rented them out. So they were able to get more photos and stuff done than Grammy. Two family photos of Graham. Oh, yeah, she did have brothers and sisters. She had quite a few. I'll have to look up that picture. We had two pictures of Grammy's family, the whole family, her mother and father, and then Grammy was the youngest, and then all her sisters and brothers. And then we have one family of Grampy and all his family. Anyway, so this is my Grampy's brother's daughter. This is my mom's cradle roll. It was just sitting like this in her dresser. So the edges have got, managed to get, it's 9 by 12 instead of 8.5 by 11. So I didn't get the whole thing in my scanner, but so this is when my mom was entered into Sunday school after her birth. This is my great aunt Mamie, I believe. That's either Lottie or Mamie. I can't remember which one. I think it's Mamie. It's not marked on the back. Some of them are marked. Mom knew who they were. They got marked. All right, so this is, hold on. This is the mother of this lady. And this is, this is a much older photo. This was from this girl was my Aunt Betty's age. So she was like 8 years older. She's 8 years older than her anymore. If she is, she's 92 or 98 years older. 94 if she is still alive. But she is. But that's her mother and the brother Keith. Hey, Sharon. Just sharing some old family photos. So this is Aunt Lottie. This is Aunt Edie's sister. So this is my grandfather's sister, my great aunt. And this is Mamie. That's another sister. I remember Mamie and I remember Edie from when I was really young. They died when I was quite young, but I do remember both of them. I think I remember Lottie, but she must have died first because I don't remember her as much. And then this is Lottie's husband. And then this must have been her beau. I don't know if she ever ended up marrying or not. I can't remember Aunt Mamie ever being married. She must have been, because there they are. Oh, really? Cool. Hi, Eileen. Just showing some family photos that we found in Mom's dresser when my sister was cleaning out. Okay, now, this is an important photo for us. Mom's mother, my grandmother, you can see Mom looks a lot like her. That's my grandmother, Jenny Mason. They called her just plain Jenny because she had no middle name, and it wasn't Jennifer. It was Jenny was her given name. Mason was her last name. And then that's my grandpa McKay. And that's their oldest son, our Uncle Henry. That's Gram and Grampy. Now this is my Mason. This is Grammy's father. What was his name? William Mason. This was artificially colored a little bit, but not really. The grass is a little bit green and his vest is a little bit greeny blue and the sky is blue, but that was obviously colored afterwards because this would have been in the 30s, 20s or 30s. This is a great aunt again. I think that's Aunt Lottie. Yep, hand tinted. This one's sitting down. No. This one's Aunt Mamie. The other three are cousins some other way. I don't recognize the names at all. Of course, wish we had found these when Mom was still alive because she would have. Mom's short-term memory was gone, but her long-term wasn't. But she must not have. I mean, she has their names written on them, so she knew who they were. But I don't know who they are to Mamie, whether they're cousins or whether they're friends. This is Mom's cousin's Elaine's father. Okay, this would have been Mom's great uncle. Isn't that cute in his christening gown? Hey, CB. I'm just showing some family photos because I've been scanning them in to save them for. This is my great uncle. No. No, my great uncle. my grandfather's brother. Edward, I believe his name was. Mom doesn't have it on the back, but I think his name was Edward. He died young. People died of pneumonia because penicillin hadn't been invented. Oh, that's Mom's university graduation portrait. Those are the ones I've got scanned so far. And I'm making a, as I scan, I am making a Word document with the info on the back. And the Word document is obviously is going to be named the same as whatever I named the photo. And that way we'll be able to make tags for when we put them in our scrapbooks and stuff. We'll know who's who. This is what fell on the floor. I wanted to show you this because it's very interesting. This is not labeled, so I'm not sure. It looks like Aunt Edie, but I'm not positive who they are. But when I put them on an angle, look at it. See the shine of the ink? It's printed on this it's not printed on the mat board, but it was adhered. You can see the adhesive, but you can see the printing where the black ink is. So it's kind of cool, I think. But this one is an unmarked one as well. But I'll have to look close, but it looks like Aunt Lottie again. Getting cut off? Just a minute. Oh. So my sound is kind of weird, you guys? Well, if my sound stays weird before I start my painting, I will start a new recording. That's Aunt Mamie, my great Aunt Mamie. This is Aunt Lottie. Actually, she kind of looks like Mom. All right, now these are some more, oh, I got to show you my dad's family. I have some of my dad's photos. Hold on. Oh, there's Mom and her very first car, 57 Chevy. Cost her a year's salary as a teacher. I think when I scanned this, I think I have a much better photo. That's my mom in the middle in the front. Her twin brothers who were, and then the one in the back, I think, is probably Mason, her other brother. That's my Mom's mother and father there in the back. This is at Mom and Dad's house. There's my dad. This is my mom. And this is my cousin, Dorothy, who lived with Mom for a while. Deb, it was turquoise and white. Chevy blue. Oh, there they are. Okay. This is my dad's mother and father. We weren't very close to them as a family because they were Catholic. My dad had the nerve to marry. That did not turn out very well. But there's my mom and dad. Hold on. When I scanned them, I took the pink out of the photos when I scanned them. But there's my mom and dad on their wedding day. And of course, his parents wouldn't come to the wedding because they couldn't come into a Presbyterian church. And of course, Mom made her gown. So how's the sound, guys? Is it still cutting off my words? I'm going to move this a little closer to me, but all right, this is from the 70s. This was on we belong to a campers club called part of National Campers and Hikers Association, and our particular club in doing a good turn, but we spelled it as TERN, as in the bird. There's me in the yellow and blue hat, in case you didn't know. You know, always find my friendette right beside us. You can see Dad in the glasses sitting down behind us there. That's my dad. The one in the coat with the furry hat beside me is my younger sister, but for whatever reason, she wasn't looking at the camera. This is my older sister in her blue parka-style coat. That's Kevin Dooley jumping. This is Lynette's little brother jumping down off the back, of course. So that's our sleigh ride. Okay, let's see what other. I got tons in here. I'm not going to show them all, but. All right, here's my dad's. Okay. I'm going to show you my dad's whole family. He was Catholic, 14 brothers and sisters, and you can tell. There's one girl that doesn't look like the family. Not quite sure where she came from. But there were 14, 7 brothers, seven boys, 7 girls, and the last 2, just to even it off, the last 2 were twins, a boy and a girl, just to keep it even. This is my dad here with the glasses. I think this was their 50th wedding anniversary, I believe. And Bobby and Betty, the twins. Were they all there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. How come they're not all there? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Oh, there's one missing. I don't know who's missing. I don't think Leonard was still alive back then. Gosh, I'd have to go through and see which. There's Rita. That's Margaret. That's Veronica. That's Raymond. Oh, no. It's not Raymond. It looks like Raymond might be missing. Behind Dad, the oldest. Anyway. Oh, yeah, Sophia, along the way, they lost several. Now, you can see how thin Grampy is. Grampy, the last job that my grandfather had, my Grampy Pettipaw, they're Pettipaws. My dad and 2 of his brothers married Presbyterians, and they all legally changed their name to Pitts from Pettipaw. after they got excommunicated from the family. So my dad was a ped paw, now Pitts. But anyway, you could always tell that they were all members of the same family because they all had that same dark French. They all looked alike. Okay. So I think that's all for photos right now. I think the other ones are kind of the typical of us growing up, and I'll share those ones later. But okay, I think I'm just looking here to make sure there's nothing else. Oh, Charlie, Lottie, Mamie. Oh my goodness. Mamie must have written on the back of this. And the writing is exactly like Mom's. I thought it was Mom's writing because it says and Charlie's Lottie's husband. Oh. So that's Lottie and Mamie. And then is the husband of Lottie. Okay. All right. I need to put the cover on this so I don't lose it again. Oh, except now I don't know where the cover went. It must have fallen on the floor. Oh, no, that's not it. Where the heck did the cover go? It must have slid off somewhere. It couldn't have slid that far. Very weird. All right, I'm going to try and sit it on my printer and see if it'll sit without falling all over the place so I can have a good look for the cover. All right, let me go. I've got a mess. Ignore the mess on my desk. Okay. Okay. Continuing. Got to continue getting the oh, my new heat gun. I got this squeegee free with my new heat gun. I'm going to change to a more zoomed in. Need to make sure it gets there we go. Here's my new heat gun. So it's got a completely metal nozzle here, so there's no plastic surrounding it, so less chance if it's not going to overheat. Okay, because plastic gets hot a lot, gets beyond its comfortable heating spot a lot faster. So anyway, so that's my new heat gun. So, I mean, it's still bigger around, like I can just barely grab it in my little tiny hands. They're fat, but they're tiny fingers. But it'll work. Do the trick. That's my new heat gun. It's a Rev, is the brand name. A Rev heat gun. It's just a no-name, a lot cheaper than the, I could have bought a high-priced one, but even the Black & Decker one was twice the price. So I was like, It's like it was only $29, so. I know, Eileen. Deb, actually, it's not too bad. It's just got two temperatures, and one is not a whole lot hotter a little hotter, but not a whole lot hotter than the craft one. So I'll just always lower temperature, but it's not one of those ones that goes up to like 1,000. It's made for, this one is advertised as to be used for keeping, your cars and stuff for the winter. When people store their cars for winter, they use that vinyl wrap that they melt and seal to the, not seal, but conform to the shape of the car so it stays on. That's what it was advertised as for. Hey, Carrie Ann. Oh, no, I would never grab it by mistake up there. You don't even hold it up there, so that wouldn't be a problem. That won't be an issue. Even my other gun, your other heat gun, you couldn't hold up there either, because the plastic would have got you. All right, so here we go. Marbles, take 3. I'm gonna try and finish these today. Okay, let's re-wet my colors here. I still have some colors in my palettes. In my ceramic palette, a little bit of my other palettes, so they're ready to go. All right, so I'm on this guy here. Oh gosh, Jean. Sorry, need to get my photo open here. Take off the lock so that it stays on for me. And oh, wrong album, Jean. There we go. All right, so once again, down here in the bottom left, you can see the photo. If you want to see it a little closer up, there is the photo reference photo. Hello, Aloria. You must be new. I don't recognize your name. Welcome to my channel. My words are still getting cut off for you, Eileen. Do I need to start a new stream just in case? What do you guys think? Hold on. I've got something opened in the background. Maybe I should shut it down. One moment. It might be taking some of my memory. Okay. All right, so let's go back here. All right, let's make sure it focuses. All right, Jean. Going in with some green here. Going to use some of my nail, and it needs one more layer of that to get a little more bright in there before I go in with some sap green. Apologize. I hope you're not just seeing the top of my head. So hopefully my cleaner will be able to come tomorrow, and then I can get my desk rearranged. I have another bookshelf to build tonight. going to take a little of my sap green and mix it with that permanent green pale. To get a little depth in a couple of places here. So remember, these colorings are all part of marbles. So I like to keep the brilliance. Now I'm going to go in with a clean, damp brush and just soften up the edge just a little bit there. All right, now I'm going to go in with just some sap green. While it's still wet. All right, so there's a little detail. My lines aren't very good because I'm trying to keep my head out of it, but I'm not seeing very well doing that. All right. I'm going to dry that so I can do the orange area. Oh, thanks, Deb. I'm not very happy with the edges of my divisions, but you know, what can I do? All right, so let me see what's happening here on my... All right, so it's pale here. I'm going to turn this guy upside down, actually. And I'm going to need to make... I'm using... And then just a little bit of cad red. Not a lot of red. Now... Oh, just a moment. I need to check something. No, I think it's just that new heat smell. Yeah. Wanted to make sure I didn't have it too close to my wall when it was sitting cooling down there. All right. Anyway, sorry. As I was saying, colored in. So I'm going to wet the whole thing though. And there's not quite enough red in that. Here we go. because one actually has, although the lines between the colors are fairly crisp, this one has a really nice kind of fading here. So I want to make sure, that's why I wet the whole thing, so I wouldn't get any blooming happening. All right. All right, so now oh, cool, Judy. Yes, color pencils would be cool for doing marbles. Definitely. Oh, Judy, got to wet those. Gotta wet those watercolors. Just start with some fun. Judy, if you're worried what to start with, just draw some circles and start spheres. Just single colored spheres. Just the shading and highlighting of spheres, or even just squares, or just do some basic shapes to learn what your watercolors do on your paper. All right, so now I'm going to work on the blue. So I started with CAD blue, and now I'm going to go in with the phthalo blue. I need to clean, just one moment, I need to clean out my blue well, because I started with cerulean. I can't remember what I said. Phthalo blue I'm going in with. It's cobalt. Ugh. Cobalt blue. All right, Jean. My brain's on like mode here. Put a little water in that palette there. Cobalt blue. There's my cobalt, right? Oh, I thought I got enough water in it, but I didn't. There we go. All right, so going in with some cobalt blue. The cerulean will just help give it that nice glow, my nice light areas, highlighted areas. And so now I'm going to clean my brush. I'm going to go in with my clean. Sorry, I don't usually work 12. And I'm trying an 11 by 14 size. So that's challenging for me. Now I'm going to go in. I've got a piece of paper towel here, and I need to lift a little bit from this edge side. Oh no. Hope I can cover that when I get to the there we go. Needs to be a little bit. I'm going to try and lift a little more. Just got to get that glass look. Glass edge. So you're going to get a little bit more of a glass showing through. No, it's not a study. This is actually a painting. No, yeah. I don't think I've ever done a study. I suppose you could count all the paintings I've done in my journals studies technically. But this is an actual a painting, so it's full size. Going to maybe hang up somewhere, you never know. All right, so I need a little bit of my palette's getting all messed up. I do need, should have used the cerulean before I need a little cerulean. So I'm going to pick it down here. Oh, make sure you don't have any water drops on your, past your ferrule there on your. So this blue at the bottom is a reflection of the blue coming from above. So it's lighter. So that's why I'm using the cerulean color. That's the undertone for that. And this needs another layer of blue, but I've got to make sure. Yeah, it is dry enough. Or I should say, I have to make sure it's dry, not dry enough. If you try and go over a still wet layer and add another layer, glaze another layer, and then the paint, I put in acrylic. You're painting in acrylic. Before you add a new layer, you have to dry that first layer, or you're going to pick up that first layer of acrylic. Once it gets a certain amount of drying power, you can't add any more, another layer on until it's dry. More there because it's not drying yet, so you can add more. But once it kind of loses its gloss, then you can't add any more. I'm going in. Sorry, I had to take some of that over. All right, so let's see. Where else do I need a little, okay. All right, I need some gray. Uh-oh, and I dropped red inside my gray, so now I got to clean out my, one moment. See if I can get it out before it all gets wet. So it's not completely ruined. Let's see. Sorry about that. Yeah. Guess I best just clean out the whole thing. It's got a great big drop of orange paint in that. All right, let's get some more gray. So I mixed some blacks right in my palette out of the tube. About half and half worked. So half half ultramarine and half half ultramarine and half burnt umber. I have one that's half ultramarine and half burnt sienna as well. Hey, Helen. Okay. Okie dokie. Sorry, she wrote that a while ago, but I just saw it now. I need to pick up a little bit of that color right there. There we go. All right. I need to go in with my clean brush and get that gray to the edge so that we can see. I may need to go in and take a little paint in here. There we go. Now, one moment. I just need to do a little bit. Now I'm going to go in with my next size brush. Clean and damp. All right, I think I may have to go in with my, I'm going to go in with my little flat brush here. Let's make sure the brushes are clean. I can't remember what. It's left a little bit too much color at the edge, so I'm just going to wet it a little and hopefully lift just a little bit. There we go. Got a spot that still looks a little pointy instead of round. Hopefully I can fix that with the background. All right. That one is complete. I shall let it dry. Let's take off the, I'll take off the bottom yet because I still have to do this shadow here. All right, next one. This one's a little, this one doesn't have, well, yes it does. All right. All right, so on this one, I'm actually going to kind of start with this gray section. I have to define it a little bit more still before I add the final gray on it. This is, what is it? green mixed with a little bit of phthalo green red shade. I believe it's just. See, I can't even remember. It's going to have a layer of gray over it, so not going to end up being quite as bright as it looks right now. And then I need a little wee bit up here where I have one layer of this very light layer down. Already, but I'm just adding a little bit more color before I put the gray over it. All right, so let's dry those little spots and then I'll add the gray. One moment. I need a tiny bit of. Okay. All right, so let's dry that. Hey, Vicki. Norma. No problem, Deb. I'm sorry if I missed saying goodbye to you, but sorry, it's so hard to keep up with the chat when I'm watercoloring because you got to get that color down. This is not as good as my last marble painting. They're a different kind of marbles, though. These marbles do not have as much clear glass. They're only clear glass in a couple of little spots. All right. All right, I'm going to go in with my, I think I need to add more water to my gray. It's going to be too dark. Oh, I should have wet it. Probably would have went on better if I had done it wet on wet, but anyway. And then there's a little gray under here. Sorry, I didn't get right over to my edge here with this gray. Okay. And that needs another layer, I think, but I need to dry it before I that darker gray area. Oh yeah, definitely the Cotman should be above the Prima. Not that I like them, but I'm not a fan of the Cotman. But they, yeah, definitely because they're Winsor & Newton, they definitely have better pigments than the Prima. All right, so that's a little brown because of the green under it. So I am going to go through again to get a little bit more of the dark color that I want on that. That's better. And then down here. I'm going to go in with a little bit of the cerulean there. It's reflection. Got to just paint whatever shapes you see. That's what's important. Don't try and paint the marble. Paint your shapes. All right. Before I paint the rest of this blue, I need to do a line. So this is phthalo green that's going through this. Coming from the here. So while I have that off, I'm going to paint that section. I'm going to do it wet on wet because it is not as solid a color texture. So I am going to do it wet on wet. So it'll be a little softer. This is kind of one of those areas that is just glass. So it's that kind of greenish glass color. So I already have my gray there to darken this up. I'm trying not to add too much color on purpose because it's easier to add more color than to take it away. And I'm going to have to add a little more but that's easier to do. I also need that down here. All right. This is a little too dark, so I'm going to wet it and pick a little up, I hope. There we go. yeah, it's very important in all painting, but I think, not that I've done much painting in acrylic. Most of the painting I've done in acrylic has just been like backgrounds and art journals and stuff. So I haven't done any like painting like this with acrylics, except for a few canvases for my paint night classes. But I do find that, I mean, every artwork, in order to make any other colors pop, you need the dark and you need light. And the darker your darks are, the more dramatic all your colors are going to be, I find. And especially in watercolor, because of the transparency, all right, of your paints, that dark really helps with some pop. All right, this I am also going to do. Ooh, see, land on a background or anything. Great big wobblet. I wasn't careful there. If that had been on my background, it would have ruined a background, or even a spot on the marble. A big drop like that would have ruined it. Okay. So, or cobalt blue, excuse me. All right, and now I'm going to go in with even more before this dries, where I want it to be darkest. So I get a good blend. Here we go. All right, want that to dry. You can see the color variation there. All right, so now I'm trying to decide. Okay, I do. All right, before I go in with my gray here, I just need to add a little detail here. There's a couple of spots where this is a highlight here. And so on either side of that highlight, there's a little bit more bright phthalo green. And then I'll soften the edges so that it's not like a straight line, because it's just kind of a area where it's a little brighter. Now I need to go with a nice watery, so I'm making sure my brush is wet. I'm going to darken this up with some gray. Might have to add, we'll see. Don't know if there's enough green in that, so I may have to, oh, just went in the wrong one, but good, thank goodness there wasn't much left on my brush. All right, I'm going to have to remember to get new gray before I go to paint with this, because I just mixed in some phthalo green in with it. There, that's better. Okay. Darken it that way first, and then I'll go over it with just the gray. That way it has a little bit more of the correct color there. I can't really see my silly. I think my marbles are turning out very circular. Hey, Jilly. Hey, Kathy B. Hello, hello, hello. Working on some marbles here. All right, so now what I need is, I need some of that phthalo green, but I don't need, that's way too much, Jean. One moment. Let me get it clean. Okay, that's a crack. That's not paint. All right. I need to mix just a little of that phthalo green with some titanium white watercolor. I'm not mixing it with gouache. It's mixing with the white watercolor. All right, so that's going to give me a nice, I think it needs a little more white still. I had even more, not a little more than I needed. There. I just want a slight hint of that green for this white area. Oops, sorry. That turned out to be the perfect color. I need that right here as well. And down here. a wee bit of it over on this one. Not as much, though. Not the whole thing. There, okay. All right, let's dry that and see if it needs anything else. See if I need to... Yes, it does. I know a little bit more of that gray. Needs a little more dark along the top side here and on top. Okay. All right. And since it's the area where it's going to be green anyway, it's okay. There's a bit of green in it still. Just need to make it darker. Now I need gray. All right, let's clean that out so I get rid of that green. All right, and let's get some gray. A little water. And now this kind of comes out into a darker, a little more of the green. So I'm going to go switch my plates back here and get some. So while it's still wet, so it kind of fades together. This needs to be a little darker here. I'm trying to stay, somewhat true to the colors, but I mean, I'm not going to get every single little mark the same. All right. I did not finish my green here. Oh, and I actually need to finish. Did not get all the gray either. The gray goes down to the bottom here. And up here. Now I need to fix my green, and then this one's done. Oh, sorry, guys. Ooh. One moment, please. I hasn't been doing that the whole time. I just realized that I didn't have my app open. Hey, Julie. Thanks, Judy. tried. So just a little bit of green needs to be added down below here. Sap green. There, I have some mixed still with a little bit of my area. So I'm going to do that while it's wet. All right. On to the next one. I'm going to do this green. Now, this green here in this one is a different color green. It's more of the permanent green, but trying to decide the color of this green here. Permanent green pale, but a little darker, and of course it has orange. The orange is kind of behind it, so that's why it's a little bit tanned down, darkened down there. But I'm going to do it. I'm not going to do it as orange going behind it because it is a little more solid, because it'll end up being brown if I do it with the orange going behind it. But I'm going to make it look like the orange is going behind it. So my first layer is the permanent green pale. So what I'm going to do is it is, and I'm going to add a touch of cobalt green, I think is what it looks like. It's not. All right, need to wet my cobalt green. One moment here. That'll darken it, tone it down a little, darken it up. Okay, so that's good for that light part. Let's add a little more color here. Now what I'm going to do is go in with very wet brush into my gray. And I'm going to pick up very little color. And while it's still wet, I'm just going to add a little touch into that. I may have to see. All right, I need to dry this before I go in and do the rest of the detail. Bye, Dot. Have a fun class. Sorry, I probably missed it. Hey, Kimberly, welcome back. Oh, no, buffering? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So it's not really bad. I did have it set on 1020, but it was good on the 1020 or 1080 instead of 1020, but okay. Oh no, Kimberly, really? You can't read the numbers on the house or the mailbox? Oh yes. That new heat gun is working awesome, awesome, awesome. All right. So I'm happy with that, except let me get a clean tissue here. I did end up a little bit darker here than I wanted. So I'm going to pick this up. I'm not sure how staining this green is. Oh, no, that's good. It's picking up nicely. Okay, good. So now I need to take a little gray, and I'm going to move it into my green here so I can do my dark area. There. All right, I think I need to. Trying to get it a little bit of a rounded shape, but it's not agreeing with me. Well, dang it all. There we go. I just added a little more green back in there. All right. Now the blue section. So let's. Blue section's not supposed to be touching, but anyway. I can go in with a little bit of white after. If I feel like I need to. Oops, I had that on high. I keep pushing it a little too far past. I just need to, actually, I think the dark part is not too bad here. I'm going to go in with a little bit of kind of almost full strength cobalt blue here. To brighten up the light area here. Because I think I used ultramarine instead of cobalt on this. So I'm just going in with some cobalt to brighten that up. Then I'm going to go in with some white on top of it while it's still wet. Should blend together and brighten up that spot. And then I'm going to go in with some anthraquinone I think that's it. Blue for the dark area. Dark enough. I think I need Payne's Gray for that. Actually, it's probably best if I'm a little to the right. Maybe my head won't get in the picture. There. Okay, now to do the orangey ready parts. Let's try that, and then I'll do actual. Now these green parts are more of a sap. Oh, it does look like a parrot, doesn't it? All right, I think I'm gonna do the green part next. All right, need a little sap green. And a little gray. Mixed together. Give a nice dark green here. Probably would have worked as well. Oh no, that's in my Shinhan, isn't it? Yeah, I might have to. I like my shading green. There we go. Oh, it's a little too much. Permanent green gene. Ah, that rhymes. Okay, so now I just have to do the orangey part, which is a little too red in the original, which is pain. So I'm going to little bit of yellow over this to see if I can get my better color going here. Down there is okay, but up here it was. There we go. And now this has a fuzzy edge, doesn't have a straight edge, so I'm going to give it a fuzzy edge. That's too big a fuzzy edge, but anyway, it's better than what I had. There we go. Okay. Oh, what did Kimberly? All right, there is a tiny bit of blue here. And I'm going to go back to that very light bluish one. There are also some scars on this one, some quite prominent gray. Oh, I really messed this up because there's a great big thing in there that I totally missed. Okay, let's fix this. This green goes all the way up there. Down here. Yeah, totally messed up this section. That's why I was so confused. Okay, I'm going to have to add more gray on that later. Oh, come on. What's going on? All right. sorry, I'm just putting a little lemon yellow in there because I have to brighten that area up just a little bit. Get some glow. See, I can't get into Kirby at all. Way too much detail. I would never even finish a page. I'm lucky if I can finish a page of ones I really like the look. I get bored. Okay. I'm supposed to use that word, but I do kind of get bored of coloring. I don't know. It's like still creating, and I use my look, the book, the look. I use it for practicing fabric and practicing faces, shading, and stuff like that. So I don't do it very often. I'm actually planning on using them in journals, art journals, if I ever get back to my art journaling. Okay. Oh, yes. So I was waiting for this bottom part to dry so I can go in with a very light gray here on my bottom. And I didn't get the side edge of this one either. There. Okay. And now oops. Water drop gene. All right, now there's a few details in this that I'm going to add with my gray. There's kind of some dirt or something on this marble, so I'm just going to add a few of the kind of details. I'm just going to add the gray and then dab it off to put a few of those imperfections in. I messed up the marble here, but hopefully I can fix that when I go to do the table. I want to see if I can clean it up a little now that it's dry. I went way outside the line with my green because it got wet on me. Oh, that green picks up so nicely. Yay! Of course, it's also this 300-pound paper picks up really nicely. The Fabriano Artistico, and I see my paints pick up so nicely on it. All right, that one's done. On to the next one. Whew, blaze, blaze, blaze. All right. Just going to put a little bit of that yellowy orange up there so that it'll dry before I get to that section. Okay. So I think I'm going to do this very bottom section first. So I'm going to wet it. Add a little this yummy gold color to that. I have no idea. No idea. Darn it. I haven't even started the cast shadows or the, oh gosh, probably should have been doing the reflections while I was doing this, but all right, so now I have to add a little bit of gray into this. All right, I want to stop that from flowing, so I'm going to go in. Sorry, guys. Let me scooch this over a little bit so you can see a little better. Hi, Shauna. Oh, yeah, a toddler with a scarf or a superhero cape. Okay, now I'm going to go back in and a little bit of that, get a little bit of a better shape. It spread a little bit too much. I should have waited for it to dry a little bit. That's okay. Here especially. Okay. So I'm going to go back over it with some gold. There we go. That's a little better. Okay, so now I'm going to dry that, and I'll do the orangey red part here. Well, it really is a rusty orange with blue mixed in. Now, to get my rusty orange color, I'm going to take my permanent orange color that I have here that I've been using. And a little burnt umber. No, transparent. Oh, one moment, please. I need my. I need to find my. Yeah, transparent orange iron oxide. Yeah, I thought it was right. It is the second one. I'm going to take a little transparent orange iron oxide and add that to my. Oops, it needs to be wet. Your tones are a little bit, need a little bit more. I didn't wet it at all. There we go. I've got electric heat, so they do, even though they're engrams, they do, they stay tacky, but they don't stay wet. All right, so I've got just a little bit of transparent orange. I don't think I'm going to do the blues in there. It's wet. I don't think I'm going to do it. Too much trouble. Can't be bothered. There's like stripes of blue in with this, but don't want it. So now I'm just going to go in with, where's my burnt umber? Yeah, okay. While it's still wet. For my dark areas. It's going to just make like a darker rust. Still. And then for the darkest areas, I will go in when it's dry with some burnt umber. Oh, sorry, guys. Give it a little texture. All right, I'm going to try and finish the marbles and at least be cast shadow. Doesn't take as long, Jean. You have to remember it doesn't take as long. Bottom looks a little dirty, but it does look dirty in the picture too, so. Thanks, Judy. All right, so now I just need a little bit of burnt umber here to get my darkest area down here in the I'm going to do some dark veins instead of blue. Just because it's easier. I tried to do a layer and it didn't work out very well. So I just decided to do some dark instead of the blue. Because it's my painting, it's my marble, and I can paint it however I want. I just have to remember to make those changes when I paint the reflections. All right. Now I need my blue. The top part of this blue's not too bad. I think I might need to add a little white to it, but I need some cobalt blue, brighten up the bottom section. All right, a little water in my palette, a little on the paint. And let's get some nice bright blue in here. There we go. And I think I'm just going to add a little bit of white watercolor, not gouache. Just try and fade this blue just a little bit more. There. All right, that's actually good for the blue section, believe it or not. All right, now I've got this little section over here to finish. I didn't leave much space for it. So it'll be then what's on the real marble, but that is okay with me. Blue. Blue down here. Oops. Cobalt blue this is too. And then I need some green. And it is basically some okay. Down on the bottom is some phthalo green because it's the glass on the bottom edge. And up on this section, it's got a little bit of this I'm going to go in and wet this area because the yellow all right, so I need to go in here with some orange and a little yellow reflecting here. Then I need to dry it before I add my gray. Bye, Kimberly. Bye, Beth. All right, what was I? Right, I need to dry this so I can add my gray. It has to be very I have to be very light on the gray, so I'm going to use a lot of water in my brush. So instead of going to my, I'm going to leave the water in my brush instead of going to my mat, and then pick up a very watery gray there. So it ends up just shading and not shape here. But this whole section kind of gets some gray. There. All right, right in here. I need some phthalo green. Once again, clean my brush. Gonna go in a little bit of gray right here. Oh, oh boy, these marbles have lots of detail. A lot more difficult than the other marbles I've done before. Now, I need a very small amount, so I'm going in wet on wet. I'm going to get this nice and wet. Uh-oh. A little too much wet, Jean. It's just a little shape. And I also need to fix that shape because it actually comes down here. Heat gun. Oh, really? Well, I think first of all they had very stupid jurors, so maybe they should pick some smart jurors. And of course, they should never have him try the glove on. Of course, that was his team, wasn't it? Anyway. Actually, you know, Eileen, I have a couple of her books, 2 or 3 in the series. I think there's 3 in the series, and they're actually pretty good. Her novels. I had them on my Kindle. Let my Kindle read them to me. They're not bad. Okay. Oh yes. I need some of my I'm actually going to wet it because it's not quite as much green as my other one. So I'm going to wet it so that it doesn't have as much green as these two do. So I'm going to wet it first and try to use less just so it's not white. And this time I'm going to try going in with my gray while it's wet and see if that works any better, because it is more of a gray one. Yeah, okay. So this is still wet. So now I'm going in to try and get my circle shape back with the gray. Yeah, that worked. And it only took me 4 marbles to figure that out. Okay, another marble done. Woohoo! Okay, so one more full one and then that little bit of one back there. Woohoo! And then I'm done with the marbles. Whew. And then I might do the background of this part. I just don't want to stick my arm in it or anything. Thanks, Debbie. You have to look at it like a lot of watercolors. You kind of have to look at it from a distance to get the best view. And right now we're kind of close up, so you don't get as good a feel for what's going to be in the end. So for this, I definitely need, okay, I'm going to clean my, definitely need my sap green for this. And this green had a little bit of cobalt in it, and I don't want cobalt in it this time. Okay, so all right, I'm going to wet the entire green area here. For the second layer of green, I should say. So I'm going in just with a little wee bit of pigment first, because this darker green area doesn't go right up to the blue. So I want to leave some of that light green there. So I'm just kind of tracing in the darker green shape right now. Because there's a couple of areas where there's lighter green. And I want to be sure to leave them. I need a clean Kleenex. All right, so I'm gonna dry that. I have to go in with more color, of course, but I want it to get my shape. Okay. So this time I'm going to go in wet on dry. Now remember, in order to make your light areas pop, you need some dark near them. And this is a little too green. It's not quite the right color of green. So what I'm going to do before it dries here is I'm going to put just a touch of my gray in it. Just to make it look a little more of a natural green, I think. Of course, now it's a little too dark, but that's okay. Going down in here with my clean brush to soften up this edge a little. Bring it up a little bit towards. Don't want it to be quite as obvious that there's a, space there. Okay, so now I'm going to Okay, no problem, Norma. Have a great dinner. I had some yogurt berries. So I wouldn't. Almost time for my supper too, but I want to get my cast shadows done. So maybe I can do that in the next half hour. Let's try anyway. And of course, I don't want this kind of bloom edge here. So I'm going to try and soften that up. Force it to kind of soften up a little bit. without making the bloom worse. There we go. All right. Now I have to do my blue here. All right, so this stripe is cobalt blue and the other stripe is ultramarine. So let's go back to my palette that has cobalt here. Right, so I'm going to do it all the cobalt first, and then I'll go back in and do the dark. So I had a very light cobalt blue first layer just to give me my shape. All right, I'm going to use Anthraquinone blue for the darker areas. Oh, sorry, I have a little water bubble here. I think I'm going to need another layer of that. It's not quite dark enough. At least I got him the second time around. Spent a little time in jail because he thought robbery was okay. Anyway. So I had very little water in my brush, trying to get as much of the mass tone of the paint here for this detail as I could get. Ooh, a little too much down there, Jean. There, that should work nicely for that, I think. Oh, sorry, guys. Ooh. All right, so this one didn't really have to dry that one, I guess, because I'm going to wet this one because the ultramarine just kind of goes down the center and then it feathers out. So just going to do it wet and wet. Dry my brush. And I need some gray to go underneath here. So I think I need to do this wet. So I need to dry my blue so I can get some gray underneath it there in between the two blue stripes. Oh, Shauna, the first part of my stream, I showed some old family photos that we found in my mom's dresser that I'm scanning. So I have all these slides that I got the slides all scanned. I'm still going through fixing up scratches and stuff. I have all the color fixed in them, but I have to go back now and fix scratches and stain marks that somehow ended up on the slides. Who knows? And then I have to but so we also have some of these old photos of my great aunts, great uncles, grandma, grandpa, and some of my dad's family, aunts and uncles from his side of the family. We don't have any greats from his side of the family. My dad's family was much more poor than my mom's family. Well, he had 14 kids, and Grampy didn't work because Grampy had TB and was in and out of the sanatorium for 14 years, and they still managed to have 14 kids with a couple of stillborn in amongst those 14 as well. I think there were 2 or 3 stillborn, but so anyway, yeah. So I am scanning the old photos so that and making a book for myself and each sister. Plus, we're going to put the originals in a scrapbook so that they're somewhere safe. We'll have to figure out who gets the originals, divvy them up. I guess, whatever. But we'll put them in a scrapbook for now, the originals, and then decisions can be made from there at a later date. But at least to get them, protected. So I think Mom had them in her dresser or her nightstand or something. And so some of them are ones we haven't seen, well, in a long time, or I don't remember seeing them. Okay, so for this part here, this is reflecting the green from the background. Although it looks funny, but it is technically reflecting green from the background. All right. That is that one complete. Okay. So I just have this little partial one left to do here. And it's actual it's a little less complicated than the others. It's got some bright green reflecting down here. And I put some green there because it's kind of, I need to add lots of water to that because I took way too much pigment. Oh no, blue got in it. Well, yeah, because I had blue up on the top. What I should be using is my little rose. I should be using my rose petal thing because none of these are huge mixes. And then I would have had more. Jean, why didn't you think of that? Oh. I'll do that for the reflections in the table. Okay. What I needed was just a little wee bit of orange and a smidge of gray to dull it down a little bit more. All right. Green. And a little bit of gray right in there. I'm going to dry that because I like the way that is looking. I need to shape the okay. Did I really, Judy? Oh no. A growl, snort, and groan? Oh my gosh. Ah, well, that's interesting. All right, I need to get this shaped a little bit better here. There we go. Because that poor... All right. So... all right, I need to get a little bit more of that orange. With a little gray. Oh, now that's too much, Jean. Let's go back up here. There we go. All right, so I'm going to do this wet. Wet. Start off with some orange. I hope you guys can see how I'm working here. Then I'm going to take a little bit of that orange, mix it in with a little bit of green. So it's a little bit of a dirty green there. And I need to go in between these two just to let them kind of bleed a little bit. And I'm going to take a little lemon yellow. I know it's going to sound very bold, but I just need to brighten that up a little bit. And it's lemon yellow is a little more opaque than the orange. So we'll go in and brighten that up. And then I'll go on it over it with a little wee bit of white just to lighten the yellow. If it doesn't lighten enough while it's drying, I'll go over it with a little bit of the white watercolor. White opaque, but it's not opaque like it's a watercolor opaque, which is kind of we'll just lighten the lemon yellow a little bit, but still allow it to like glow. Okay. Ah, that worked out so cool. If you guys can see the original, let me zoom in on the original. I actually got it pretty close, except I did not put this orange line in. but I blend kind of almost the perfect color. Hey, Debbie. Else, I'm sorry. Did you get those kids settled down, Debbie? I know that first day after a break is always the toughest. This one I'm in with gray. Being wet on wet. So I'm going to clean my palette because I had to add some orange to that gray. There wasn't much left anyway. Get a little gray back in here. So Debbie, these marbles are a lot more detailed than any of the other marble. Hold on. Working on the second. This is the last marble I'm on, and then I can do my cast shadows, Debbie. And then I think I'll be done. Are you going to stream tonight, Debbie, after me, or not? You too tired after your day of work? Probably. Oh, is it still wet enough? No, I have to go in and wet it again. Clear water. Because I had to mix up some gray. A little bit of the gray up there. Thank you, Kathy. All right. So okay, so I'm going to zoom out. Better view of all the marbles here. Farther back you are, the more realistic they look. Well, Debbie, when I drew them, I used a one moment. I used a stencil. I used a circle stencil to get them round in the beginning. So otherwise I wouldn't have round. I'd have like hexagonal marbles if I didn't use a circle stencil. So I used two different sizes of circles. Lena. Yep, Debbie, that's it. Practice, practice, practice. Each one should get a little bit better. I still make mistakes. The third one from this one? Yeah, it's the dark there on the bottom, isn't it? And then the darker greeny blue here. Yeah. It really, like this one I find has I don't know, almost seems to have too many colors in it. This one's not bad, but I didn't do very well with my lines aren't very so. Okay, so now I think I'm not going to do the cast shadows. I think I want to do the background, the wall. Not ready to do my table yet. I have to do these reflections before I can do the cast shadow. Actually, I have to do the reflections before I can add the gray for the cast shadows. So I think what I'm going to do now to finish it up for now is I think I'm going to do the background. So I'm going to need to clean out a couple of my wells here so that I can have a well for my green and a well for my red. Now, for highlight purposes, I used yellow, lemon yellow for my green areas. And I used because I use Tyrol red in yeah, it's not quite as orangey red as Cad red's a little bit more orangey. So Tyrol red is what I've been using along with some Cad orange, not permanent orange. I'm getting my it's permanent orange in my Shinhan, but it's Cad orange. So I used Azo yellow, which is the lemon yellow. For the back, my green, so green highlights when I go in with my green, the lemon yellow will make a nice green. My next layer of green is going to be my permanent green pale, and then I will go in with sap green, and then possibly probably add a little gray to the sap green to darken it a little bit for the darkest greens. For my red part here, I'm going to be using a permanent alizarin crimson, and for the darker, I'm going to be using maroon purline. Okay. So, layer 2. I need to use my next bigger brush. So let's make sure this brush is clean. So when I go to use it next time. All right. All right. I think for the green part, I'm going to use my medium. I don't know. Yeah, at least for this bottom part, I think I'll use I'm going to use my large one. Size 12. But for my mixing, I'm going to use my medium. I shouldn't be mixing with I don't usually do my mixing with my silver black velvet, but for some reason today I am. I usually use one of my other brushes. Okay, so I need pale green first, and I need my permanent alizarin crimson next. All right, so let's do the green first. Pale green. I need a fair amount in my wells here. Don't want to run out. I probably still will because I never seem to mix enough. And my permanent alizarin crimson. Oh, some blue accidentally fell in my wood somehow. Not sure how. I'm going to get this green off the edge so it doesn't accidentally dribble down in when I spray it. I think that's what happened. Still has a little green on it. These brushes can be a little hard to clean. There we go. All right. Permanent alizarin crimson. Oh, I love that color. Oh, what a color. So, since I have permanent alizarin and crimson on my brush, I'm going to start with that area. I've got some yellow up into that. That's so I get some brighter red areas. All right. And here we go. Get that out of my way. And I think I'm going to paint with it upside down. And that's the wrong freaking paint color. That's all right, Jean. Oh, that's maroon purine. Thank goodness it's going to be the color I'm going to use for the darker layer. What the heck I was thinking when I took that out of my palette. But anyway, just a moment. Oh, I need to zoom back in here. Oops. One moment. Sorry, guys. There we go. All right. Let's get my permanent alizarin crimson. I should have known that that looked too dark when I put it in the silly well. Ugh. I was just so in love with the maroon purine that I didn't notice it wasn't alizarin crimson. All right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my flat brush again. And I'm just going to make sure it's still wet like it needs to be. I'll make it work. It should just, that maroon purine should just blend in here nicely with my, there we go. That's the color I wanted. Now we go into my Pyrrole Red. Because I do need a little bit more of that in some of these here. Hold a minute. I need to one moment. Oh, I forget where I remember where. Never mind. I need my control center. I need to lock my screen so that I can turn my iPad upside down. Because if I'm going to going in with some of my maroon pyroline while it's still wet here. Starting to get a little bit of the dark in. Like, kind of looks like curtains, but sitting sideways. So the kind of waves of the circles going sideways and not up and down. So the folds are kind of like sideways. So I'm going to do some more alizarin crimson. All right, I definitely need more maroon pyroline. Now, here's the, I'm changing. I didn't go down far enough. I don't know if I can do this without messing everything up here. We'll see. It has to go down even farther, actually. Yeah, I didn't go down far enough. Darn it. I think, with my next layers. All right, I'm gotta let that dry. The maroon pyrroline, you mean, Debbie? Is that what you're talking about? The maroon pyrroline? It is an absolutely yummy color. I love their alizarin crimson too, but yeah. Heat gun. Okay, CB. Yeah, green is to die for color. Well, let me tell you, this heat gun is makes fast work. All right, so I'm gonna have to do wet on dry from now on, which means I really need to have a lot of pigment ready to go. And before I go in with my alizarin crimson, I need to go in a couple of spots with some lemon yellow. These are the brightest areas. I'm going in with fairly good areas. Oh, sorry, hit my travel mug there. Yeah, it doesn't brighten up the pyrroline. Shh. All right, now I'm going to let that dry before I go in with my next layer. I'm going to get some more alizarin crimson going here. Wondering if I need a little. No, I don't need Quin Rose. I need a little more pyro. A little more pyro red. Letting that yellow dry a little bit on its own, so it will kind of feather a little bit, and then I'll finish it once I have my baby white was dry. So is this one almost dry? I need a wet one now. So once I finish streaming, oh, I just put that in my clean water. So now I have no. Alizarin Crimson again. Guess I'm not doing my green today because I've got dirty water. That's okay. It's time for me to eat. I'm surprised I haven't totally messed up my marbles here. They're not exactly round, but I haven't totally made them square either. So considering I can barely see where my all right, I'm just putting some alizarin crimson along this area before I go back in with my purulene to darken it up. Hopefully the alizarin crimson will keep it bright as well. Okay. All right. Maroon purulene. Here we go. Nice and dark here. So trying to get in while it's still wet. So it will not leave really straight lines. Oops. Yeah, this one's messed up big time. That's okay. I might be able to fix it with. All right, since I don't have a nice clean, I'm going to spritz my smaller brush that I know is clean to go into my yellow. Debbie, this is 300 pound. 300 pound. It's very heavy. It's very yummy. I got it on sale. I got it for it was still fairly pricey, but I got it for a good deal. Like if you bought 5 sheets of it, it was like $7 a sheet, but it's the 20 by 36 or whatever. Oh, now I just messed up that I really liked. Darn it! Jean, why'd you do that? Now it's probably too dry to... All right, I think I need to leave it, or I'm going to be very unhappy with it. Okay. All right, everyone. Hey, Jillian. So, everyone, that is it so far. I can't do my green now. I was going to do my green, but I can't do my green at the moment because I ended up putting my red brush in my clean water. So now I would get, if I tried to do my green, I would end up getting brown. So there we go. But at least I got the parts around the top parts of my marbles done. I'll leave it there for now. Thanks, Judy. Whew. Now I need to go eat something. Not sure what yet. Oh, I have leftover soup, I think. Yes, I do. I think I have 1 serving of my soup left that I made the other day. I'm just going to let that dry on its own since I don't have to do another section. So, yeah. So thanks everyone for coming. You can see my messy desk. You can see that I broke one of my wonderful, next time I go to Dollarama, I need to buy another one to replace it. But I had 1 big chunk with 3 things in it. So I've been using it, but it's not really sharp enough to cut me, but I need to get another one to replace it. But anyway. Yeah, Lena. That's the one thing you miss out on with watercolor compared to if you use a artist grade acrylic, you end up with that glossy look, but that's okay. I like the transparency, so I will take that over the glossy. So, alrighty. See you everyone tomorrow. Don't know if my cleaner's coming tomorrow or not, so if she is, I may not be. Thanks, everyone.